module. Hey there, today we're coming from the computer because I want to talk about VCV Rack. What this is it's open source software that basically it's a virtual modular environment, and it allows you to learn how to make a synth or to make a sound or to make a sequence and whatnot in a modular environment for free. And it also has some pretty good recreations of audible instruments. This is clearly mutable instruments, but they have a bunch of add-ons. If you already have a Eurorack, you should probably just close this video and download the program and check it out. I'm making this video to basically show people how a modular setup works in a way where they can, for free, do the same thing and be creative with it on their own. So let's get started. So first of all, we have an oscillator. You probably heard of that. So I'm going to right click here. I'm going to create an oscillator. It's a VCO, which is a voltage controlled oscillator. I need my audio interface, which is, let's go, this isn't my audio PC, so let's just go with ACO for all. All right, and let's listen to the oscillator. It's going to be really not cool sounding. Wow, listen to that left speaker goodness. Okay, so an oscillator, for those who don't know what an oscillator is basically a bunch of clicks happening really fast. If you've ever heard like a lawnmower go like, basically the higher the RPMs on a motorcycle is the faster the piston's clicking, and therefore you get a tone. It goes like that. So let's do that. This is as low as this oscillator can go, which is kind of a bummer. I'd like it a little bit lower just for LFO purposes, but we'll get into that in a bit. And it goes up. So there you go. That's how we create a tone. So what we would obviously want to do is make that oscillator not just be a tone, not just be a, So let's bring in something called a voltage controlled amplifier, and short for VCA. And I'm going to have that go out into the output. We're only going to be in the left channel for a minute. That's kind of something that's annoying me already with this, is I wish there was an easy mixer, but boo. Anyway, so voltage controlled oscillator, basically, let's just use the sine wave, and that allows me to make it quieter and louder. Okay, but it's voltage controlled, so I can use something called, they should have an ADSR. All right, ADSR stands for attack, decay, sustain, and release. And I can have the voltage of that coming out into, there's exponential and linear, have that come out into there, which means nothing yet until we get a sequencer or some sort of gate creator. So where do they have a sequencer? Seek 3. I don't want to cover my face here. Seek 3 and the gates. Gate will go in to the ADSR, and all right, now we're creating gates apparently. I don't know if these have to be up or not to create gates, but we'll figure that out in a moment. I don't see this thing being triggered. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. So, there we go. So, attack. This is no attack at all. Let's put a saw in here instead. Can we do this? So that makes the attacks slower. Yeah. So okay, so now you get that. That's basically making the amplifier, controlling the amplifier automatically. Row 1, we can put that into the voltage controlled, this basically controls the pitch of the oscillator. There you go. Wonderful. This oscillator's pretty ugly sounding. So we'd probably want to go to a VCF, voltage controlled filter. And go into there. Low pass filter. LPF, low pass filter. HPF, high pass filter. There you go. It's not very loud, is it? So there you go. That's how easy it is to create a simple sequence. And as you probably guessed, the ADSR can also control the voltage controlled filter. So there you go. That's how to do it. Let's start with something new. Okay, so I figured out a getaway to get stereo with just the fundamentals, the fundamental pack. I'm gonna go into channel 1 on the VC mixer. I'm gonna go out, and then out of the main, I'm gonna go out as well into my second output. Look at that! Yay! Ugh. It's still such an annoying way of doing things, but alright. Okay, so these control the pitch randomly. But let's make things a little more interesting. I am going to bring in another oscillator. It's going to be a square wave, and it's going to go into the FM of the main oscillator. Okay, so this is basically like a backup oscillator. And what this is going to do, FM stands for frequency modulation, so I'm modulating it. So that's what FM does. So while we're doing that, I wish there was like a easy, I mean there is an easy way to shut this up, but I wish that there was, I could just do that. Ugh. Alright, good. Okay, so now I'm gonna go a little bit further here, and I'm gonna create an ADSR. Oh no. You can't control the... Okay, so I'm going to have to create an attenuator. They don't have one, do they? I guess I could just use VCA. Okay. Alright, so I'm also going to have to create a mult. A mult basically splits a signal into different ones. I don't think they have one normally. Okay, so we're going to have to go into Audible Instruments land here. Multiples. Yay, I have this module. Okay, very handy module. I highly recommend it. Basically this one allows in, out, 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 and then also allows you to mix a bunch of things too, which actually would have helped me a lot with the stereo thing. I wish I would notice that. So here we go. We are going to go from the FM, the square, so there's the backup oscillator. That's going to go in here. That's going to go out to the FM again. So now we have some sort of control over how loud this FM is. And then this ADSR is going to go into the input of the FM's VCA, and the ADSR is going to be controlled by the same gate that we are controlling the original oscillator's VCA. So hopefully I'm not losing anybody here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that gate, we're going to put it in the mult, then it could go in here, and then we have another one. And that can go in here. And so now, and we still have an extra gate left over. So now, so now we can actually control the, FM. And if we didn't feel like doing that anymore and we just wanted to go right back to normal synthland, no FM, we could actually take the output of this VCA and put it into the filter frequency. So now we actually have an FM filter modulator. So already we're getting some really cool sounds out of this, in my opinion. And if we don't feel like doing this at all, if we just want to get rid of FM entirely, we can do that. And we could just use this ADSR. Let's just, for the sake of ease, this ADSR will be controlling the filter, and that can let's look at some of the mutable stuff, or audible as they call it. Texture synthesizer, that's clouds. Boom. We got clouds. Let's patch that up. How does no? Oh no, they don't have the different modes of clouds. So you're getting a very neutered version of clouds here, which a little bit of a bummer, but clouds is open source, so I would imagine that this will be implemented in the future. I think most of, if not all of Mutable stuff is open source, which is awesome. Also makes me wonder if I could retrofit some of the firmware, some of the alternate firmware for Mutable stuff to fit into this program. But considering that I own a lot of these in their actual hardware form, that would be silly. Model synthesizer, that's Elements. Yeah, okay. Elements looks pretty faithful to its original thing. Let's hook up our botched terrible sequence. Ugh, that sounds awful. What is happening? My right ear is only hearing a click. Let me get a VCO and test this out and see if it's a problem with my device. Nope, right ear checks out. Right ear works just fine. Huh. Okay, that's odd. Because usually when you don't hook any... I'm pointing to the screen with my finger like you're going to see it. Usually when you don't hook anything up to clouds in the right channel, if you only hook it up to the left, it sums it to stereo on the left over here. So it sums it to stereo, but this one doesn't do it yet. Oh, okay. So that's a little bug. So now you know, if your Elements is only giving you a click out of the right speaker, you need to adjust your space knob. Space knob is reverb. This may sound better than the actual unit. This reverb's quite amazing sounding. Or maybe I'm just hearing what I'm making here without any effects, and I'm just so delighted to hear reverb. Anyway. Yikes. Alright. Try and get a good... something that's... Man, I wish there was a quantizer, or... I'm sure there will be soon, but... That's better. Okay. That's not as gross sounding. Okay. You could also use a bow, which is nice. Yeah. Back to strike, though. That's the easiest one to play with. I'm not going to get into how a modal synthesizer works. I would actually like to do a pure data tutorial on making one at some point. Okay, so let's play with clouds. That's what we're doing here. So yeah. I can't... Where's the freeze button? Weird. No freeze button. Let me see. Maybe I could rig one up. Attenuverter. That might work. Let's see. Yep. Hooray! Okay, so this is clouds. See, it samples a little piece right when I hit that. Right when I hit that freeze with the output of the attenuator here. So clouds, the actual unit, has a really nice reverb on it as well, but we don't have that here, so we can't get this super lush ambient thing going on. So, what we can do here, there's no LFO. There's no LFO! You need an LFO, low frequency oscillator, that helps for modulation. What do we got? Tidal modulator, resonator, multiples, utilities, mixer, tidal modulator, that's tides. Let's hook position up to tides. Just out of the uni. Okay. So now you're getting an idea of what is possible here. It's pretty amazing. Where's my multiples? And then we can also, we could also sort of, in a very weird way, use clouds as an oscillator. It's like this granulating oscillator. And I've never ever actually gotten a good result out of it that I like, but it's still cool that you can. So that's like our same sequence that we're getting from earlier. I didn't actually realize that this had an audio input. And it does. So that's gonna be interesting. Let's give it a tone to capture. Ooh. There it is. All right. Sweet. That's clouds. After about 15 minutes, I've managed to make something somewhat interesting here. I don't want to give any tutorials on this for a very important reason. The fun of modular and the most important part of it, in my opinion, is the exploration and is plugging things into different places and finding out what they sound like, how they affect things. That's the beauty of it. You can plug everything into everything, and that's and for that reason, everybody's modular setup is their own, and it's a unique thing. That being said, this software is great for some open source stuff that was just put up on GitHub. What would really excite me is if this software got involved with something like Modular Grid and became this virtual sandbox where you could try out new modules that you haven't played with yet, because you can't just walk into a Guitar Center and play with modular synths. There's just too many of them, and it's just too boutique at this point. And maybe the software could monetize itself by affiliate links and, perhaps coupons, things like that. Whereas I would like that a lot more than if it had DLC where you'd pay $10 for a virtual module to add on to it, because I'm still not sold on the virtual modular environment for actually creating music. Having the actual thing in front of you and having the actual cables that you're plugging in is just so much more enlightening than working on a screen. That's kind of why you use synthesizers to begin with. And this software just came out of nowhere for me. I initially wanted to do something on Reaktor's block system, which I still want to do because that's also very exciting. But you should definitely check this out. It's really, really awesome, and to the developers, good job. And as always, if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like me to feature.